Hi everyone, welcome to Art Live with Michelle. I hope you've all had a lovely week and that you're getting excited for the weekend. I am just going to check on the Facebook page that this video is working, just because it's a little bit fiddly tech-wise, and I want to make sure that it's all working okay. I also want to make sure that I can see all your comments coming up. Awesome, that seems to be working. So we'll get started. I'm going to be working on the composition for our YGC painting. So I'm not 100% sure what it's going to look like yet. It's going to be a bit of trial and error today. And I would love it if anyone has ideas, if you have an image that you think looks really cool and you think that it would be awesome if I could try and create a painting that sort of reflects that style, that would be awesome. Please leave a comment and let me know, post the photos, that sort of thing. I think you can do that, but if not, even just directing me to a painting on a website, that would be cool. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to remove this. So we have all our sketches sitting here, basically kind of ready to go. I've been sort of doing a bit of sketching throughout the week just to make sure that everyone is in the image and that I can manipulate them all properly. So right now it probably looks like a little bit of a mess, and I'm just noticing that one of these images is cut off, and this the side of them has been cut off. So I'm just going to fix it. Ooh, make sure I'm using the right pencil and the right color. Okay, and it's not quite matching up with what I originally did, just because the pencil is probably a bit different than what I was using, but we can fix it up later. There we go. Not perfect, but it's fine. Doesn't have to be right now. So I'm going to be sort of moving everyone around and trying to create one sort of cohesive image. I've got Google up on my computer and I'm looking for some references that might sort of help. But yeah, if anyone has any ideas, please comment. Otherwise, I'm just going to sort of start moving people around and seeing what kind of looks good. You might notice that I've changed the canvas size, so the white part of this image compared to what it looked like when we were doing this last week. I think that this sort of setup is going to project a bit better on the canvases when we get to that stage, which will hopefully be next week. I didn't want to start creating this composition on a canvas size that was too big, because when I project it, it's not going to match up with the actual physical canvases, and then it's probably going to look a bit squished or a bit distorted, and sort of trying to not end up with distortion. There might be a little bit, but yeah, we do our best to avoid it. Okay, so I'm going to start by moving, oh my gosh, I'm going to start by moving everyone sort of into individual spots so we can see sort of everybody at once. And I would love to hear comments about how your day's going, what you've been up to, what your plans are for the weekend. I hope everybody's got some lovely things sort of planned. Obviously, we can't go anywhere right now, but I hope you still got a couple of things planned. Maybe it's a Zoom with family and friends and that sort of thing, just so you're staying connected to people. Okay. might have to fix up that one too, because the image I have is very cropped and I'm not sure if I want to leave it cropped or if I want to sort of add some extra. Okay, I might just fix up Fiona's. Just add some extra details. Maybe even extend down here. That's sort of the fun part about drawing. You can kind of create the image to look how you'd like it to look, or you can kind of expand it and change it a little bit if you need to. It's very versatile. Okay. So I might try a couple of different sort of designs, and then maybe we can do like a little competition thing throughout the week, or a little poll throughout the week to see which ones you guys like best. But we're gonna go with maybe just putting everyone sort of down the bottom first, almost like a big group of people, which they are. So that's going to involve trying to just get every person that's in the image to be kind of the same size, and then just sort of planning out where everyone goes, because you can see everyone's in a different pose, so affect the overall sort of composition. Start over in this corner and we'll move across. I'm not sure how many people we're going to be able to fit across the bottom. Oops. I don't grab the image right. I have to use 2 fingers, otherwise it starts flipping the images all over the place. The cool thing is that once we have everyone kind of set where they're going to go, I can kind of grab all the images at once and make them bigger or smaller, just depending. It's probably going to look like a little bit of a mess for a little while, as I'm just sorting out where everyone's going to sit. Oops. So I can move where the layers are sitting, like if they're sitting at the front or if they're sitting at the back, by adjusting them in this order on this little layer screen here. So I moved Jordan down to the bottom before, just so she's then sitting behind these 2 sketches at the front here. Just helps in terms of like layering. And And so I'll do the same with anyone else that's sort of at the back. But I'm already kind of not 100% sure about this in terms of if this is going to be the final one. We'll do a few versions and just sort of see what it looks like. But this sort of process is a lot of trial and error and just kind of messing around with positioning and sizes and all that sort of stuff until you kind of get, I guess, get an image that you're happy with. So it's not particularly exciting today, but I guess, you know, if you're trying to create a composition for an artwork that you're working on, it might be useful just to see how you could do that digitally. I wouldn't say I'm 100% happy with it, to be honest, but we'll keep going with this. And I'm thinking if we go with this kind of design, it might be good, first of all, to sort of select everyone together and make them all larger. Well, may not work unless I have all layers selected, and I don't want to combine them just yet. So I'll leave that for now. I'm thinking if we go with this, maybe we can pop some kind of like comic book sort of things in the background, because we're going for like a pop art superhero kind of comic booky sort of look. So I've just got some images up on my computer that I'm going to try and I guess copy or just try and transfer onto this. So I've created a new layer just so if I don't like it, we can just get rid of it and it's easy. This is a very odd process to be streaming, by the way. Usually this would be something that I'd be doing, I guess, in my own time. And so it's a strange feeling kind of streaming and doing it live when I guess you'd sort of be experimenting on your own and nothing would be sort of set in stone just yet. We're going for like big sort of superhero-y kind of symbols. And I'm thinking maybe we can pop some writing in these. And I'm just going to rub out these parts so you get a better idea of what it'll look like once it's all set. That's the beauty of being able to do this on layers. You can just kind of rub out across these images, and because you're only working in this specific layer, you don't end up rubbing out the rest of your image. So it's actually really, really helpful. They kind of look like funny fuzzy clouds right now. But I will, I guess, work on it a bit more. Once I'm sort of experimented a little bit and I'm happier with a composition that I like, I will go back in probably during the week and refine it a bit more and just get it to a stage where I'm happy with transferring it onto a larger canvas. Maybe like a little YGC 2020. So like just looking at this, it's very busy. Yeah, it's looking very messy. So I think I'm going to try something else. I might save this though, just for future reference, in case I decide that I want to go with this or like something similar. And then maybe let's try a different kind of image. So I'm just going to save this to my images, and then I can sort of input that in later if I want to. All right, let's get rid of this and try again. The other thing that I was thinking is maybe sort of laying it out almost like it looks like a comic book page, which I think would look really cool. I guess it's just sort of setting it out so it's got sections and stuff like that. What I might do is get rid of all these sketches just to have a blank page. And then I might start creating almost like the comic book style boxes, which I'll have to do on a new layer. And I might pick an inking pen this time, just to give me a bit of a thicker line. The fun thing with Procreate, or it's very handy, this app, is that you can draw a line and then sort of pull it down and create straight lines really easily. I'm just going to use a different brush because that one wasn't quite working. And that line is too thick. Okay, and I'm going to try and sort of line it up with the lines in the background, so they're kind of reasonably straight. And then maybe we can do one that goes across. And then like maybe some of the figures can sort of come out over the top of the lines and give it that sort of like real comic book feel. I should read more comic books though, because I haven't read any in quite a while. So I'm using Google as my reference right now. But it would be good to be able to do it from, I guess, memory, or just kind of knowing what it should look like. But we'll try this as a like alternative and see how this looks. I think this one will probably look pretty good, actually. This was what was in my head, I guess, originally. But it's always nice to sort of experiment with how you want it to look, and, you know, do some different options than what you were thinking in the first place, because one might end up looking fantastic, and if you don't sort of experiment and try and see what it looks like, you're never really going to know. The other tricky thing with having so many people in this is that it's a lot of sort of focal points to move around, because usually you'd have maybe one or two people that'll be like the focal point of your composition. So like the focal point being the part that your eye sort of focuses on, or the focus of the main focus of the painting. But because we have like 13 people, it's kind of tricky to make sure that everybody is I guess, standing out or making sure that the composition's kind of a cohesive whole, I guess. It's just a bit more fiddly. Oops. I think this composition or this sort of setup should work a bit better than what we were doing before, just because it gives us more room to play with in terms of being able to move sketches around the whole canvas instead of just having everybody sort of at the bottom, and it limits the space that you get to use. And then it just ends up looking kind of messy. I kind of want to have people sort of poking out on the across the top of other sections just to give it that kind of comic book feel. I'm also trying to kind of layer people where I guess it makes sense, which is probably a weird way to describe it. I'm not sure how else to describe it, but so that the layering looks kind of natural, I guess. I also want to make sure I'm filling out the spaces properly and that everyone's, reasonably a similar size. But I think as an overall composition, like if you look at this one compared to the other one, I think it looks a bit better. Probably change it up and make it look, I guess, a bit more exciting and less sort of very straight line like it is at the moment. But it just gives me that first initial kind of idea of what it might look like to set this out. But I'm liking this one a lot more than the other one. I think because it looks a bit less busy compared to the other one. Oh, I just realized that those messages will be showing up. Oops. People asking me if I need food. Okay. I think I'm pretty happy with how that's looking so far. I'm going to do more work on it during the week and yeah, just see how it turns out in terms of maybe adding some words in, maybe sort of switching up the positions of where some people are. But I think we'll probably go with this sort of comic book style overall image and then go from there. And I'm hoping that it's going to look very kind of pop arty with like exciting colors and sort of not completely realistic faces and stuff like that, but like fairly realistic. So it's sort of on the border of it being looking like a photograph and then looking like a comic book. So yeah, I will leave it at that. Thank you everyone for joining me, and sorry for my messages popping up halfway through. But I hope everyone has a really lovely weekend, and yeah, I'll see you all next time.